Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the August edition of the Strive Alumni Town Hall, and I am Verna Hamilton. I am. I have the pleasure of gathering all the alumni together, along with Terrence Byerson and CJ. Speaking of, CJ is coming in to the stream. And we are broadcasting live on our YouTube channel. So thank you all for tuning into this experience. Let's get started. Tonight's topic is when your money is funny, but you're not laughing. How many of us have been there? I raise one hand, I raise two hands. If I have both my feet lifted up, and if I could spin around, we've all been there. So we decided, again, this is the Alumni Town Hall. We'll be doing this once a month, every second Wednesday. You don't worry for those. This is your first one. This is our only second, so you've logged in at a good time. First things up, let's talk about the announcements that my colleagues wanted to make sure that I did. Oh, I have to shout out Cycle 7, Health and Office. I know you're watching. If you're watching, type some comments. Make sure that we know that you're here. These individuals have completed their training. They're going to their step-up ceremony. So they are alumni in training, and we're so glad to have you. Let's see, what else is going on? For those who are in construction, and you, as of yet, have not done your site safety training and you're looking for your SST card, if you don't know what that means, then don't worry about it. That's not for you. But for those of you who need your SST card before September 1st, we are currently gathering names for those who need that. So let me post a comment. So for alumni seeking SST training, you are going to email Ms. Maxine Gillets. So let me just put the email. And all right. Okay. So for those ladies joining us, there will be a women's empowerment mentorship program starting soon. So the Women's Empowerment Mentorship Program, interested in that. Let's see. I'm typing, I'm thinking, I'm doing it all. If interested, you are going to email Rochelle Daves. And so let me pop this in. Right. Let's see. And last but not least, there is a back to school packet of information. So it's a back to school package. It's available online. If you need a copy, then you are going to email Terrence Byerson. So let me put that in. All right. Okay. So I believe those are all the announcements. And without further ado, CJ, do we have any comments that need to be brought up from the YouTube channel yet?
Nothing currently.
Okay. Let me just say, I know you all are looking at Mr. Jackson. I didn't do it. That's my disclaimer. That's my disclaimer. I didn't do it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get to it. So I have the pleasure of introducing our special guest for this this conversation. And all I can say is every time I hear her name, see her face, I just think about what the wonderful work she's doing, keeping track of a colleague of mine. And that's facts. And really, whenever our special guest comes to mind, I cannot think of you without thinking about money. When I think of you, I think of stabilizer.
Okay.
I think foundation. I think ride or die. I think holding it down, and has been for many years. So I would just like you to introduce yourself, because I don't have enough words and we don't have enough time. So without further ado, I will just let you introduce yourself to our stream.
Okay, thank you. Start out by saying thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share some of my knowledge with the alumni of Strive. When I hear and think about Strive, I know for sure that all of us kind of come from the same place, and my struggles then when I started working is similar to your struggles. So hopefully some of the information I'll tell you will be real. It'll be information that you can act on when you get off the line with me, and hopefully make a difference in your life. So my name is Laura Byerson. I am, or have worked in wealth management and private banking field for 36 years. And so here's a true story. I started out at the Bank of New York as a security guard.
Wait.
Yeah.
As a security guard.
As a security guard.
All right. This is I'm leaning in.
I had a child. We had children early on and kind of couldn't go to college, but I went to Apex. Well, I did 2 years in Monroe College for accounting, kind of didn't enjoy that. And then I went to Apex, which don't exist anymore, security school. And they guaranteed they find you a job. So one of the things was I knew I wanted to go back to school, but really couldn't afford it. And lots of institutions pay for you to go back to college. So I got a job at Bank of New York as a security guard, making $230 a week. This is not back in 1982.
Was it part-time or full-time?
It was full-time. So I was a full-time worker, full-time mom, and working at Bank of New York. After a year, I was able to get permission to go to college. I enrolled in college 1 year later. So now I'm a full-time mom, full-time worker, and a college student.
But you worked as a security guard for a whole year before you went.
For a whole year before I did that. Before I got to enroll in college, and I was a security guard for probably 3 years. So as a security guard, I roamed the building and on the weekends or at night, and you had to make sure no one's, in a place they shouldn't be. But I would walk past people's desks and they had nameplates on their desks. And I used to say to myself, I'm going to get a nameplate. I'm going to get me one of those nameplates. Some people had cubicles. I'm going to get me one of those cubicles.
Wow.
So I have no clue how, but this is what I'm going to get. So went to school, fast forward, graduated after 4 years of school. Had a great manager when I enrolled in school, said, what are you looking to do? She never asked me that question before. I said, why are you asking me? I've been working with you for 3 years. You never asked. She said, well, you never enrolled in school.
Oh, wow.
Evidently, you want something different. I want to help you. So fast forward, graduate college. I got into a management trainee program, and then along the way met people. I am a talker, lots of talking, what I hope to do, what I want to do. People saw something in me and they became my mentors, my sponsors. I continue to get degrees, and I got a nameplate and I got an office, and so that being said, if you plan, if you have a goal and you work towards your goal, we all have the possibility of being anything. I took a break, but when I left my job, I was a first vice president. So I went from a security guard to a first vice president. I sold investments.
Wait, Linda, wait. And I know your name is Laura, but it's like the little boy saying, listen, Linda, listen.
Listen, Linda,
You went from a security guard to first vice president simply because you wanted a nameplate and a cubicle of your own.
Yes.
There is so much in between all of that. That's where you ended. Talk about some of the let's go back. When did you first, why the Bank of New York? You could have been a security guard anywhere.
They were the first person who offered me a job, and they had tuition reimbursement. So I knew I wanted to go to college. So if they were going to pay for it, that was my place.
Got you. So it was an opportunity, and you were always looking to go back to school.
Yes. So the whole thing is, and the great word you said is opportunity. Opportunities happen whether or not we realize it all the time. The only time you actually realize an opportunity is when you're prepared for the opportunity. So they were looking for a security guard. I had a security guard background or certificate. So they hired me, and that was the opportunity. They wanted a security guard, but I wanted college. They had college, or tuition reimbursement for college. So sign me up for that.
Wow.
In that journey of going from security guard to a first vice president, you have to have, you have to dare to dream. Did I think I would be here? Never in a million trillion years. It was not possible. But the dream kept me going. So every day, I had a list of the things I thought I had to do. Who knew? I had no clue. But the things I thought I had to do, and I would wake up in the morning and say, okay, this is a list. Did I do anything to push me forward towards that goal? Or did I do anything that took away from that goal? And sometimes, I fell off track. But just because you fall off doesn't mean you don't get back on. Don't beat yourself up. Tomorrow, guess what? I will make sure, it's a new day. It's a new start. So tomorrow when I wake up, I'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. So, but you got to have a list. You have to have a list. You have to have a plan, and you have to work the plan. And that's kind of what I did. Go to college, meet people so I can get into the management trainee program. I'll tell you a story. So then I transferred out of 3 years. I transferred out of the security job, and I wind up in private banking as an administrator. And as an administrator, I worked for first vice presidents and assistant vice presidents, and I saw what they did. What was different between this assistant vice president and me? Oh, they had a 4-year college degree. Well, I'm working on that. They dressed a certain way.
Got you.
So I would save up my little pennies to go to Ann Taylor's and get me a nice black suit and a nice blue suit. It took me 3 months probably at a time. It took me a year to get like 3 suits. But
Got you.
I dressed the part that I wanted to be and not the part that I was. So all the administrators dressed in sneakers and, not sneakers, but pants and whatever. But all the women officers dressed in suits and dresses. So I got me a suit and dress and some scarves and a black dress and maybe 4 or 5 different color jackets. With 2 or 3 of the same black dress. And I throw on a red jacket and a pink jacket and a green jacket and a different scarf and made it look like I had different outfits when I really didn't. But another thing I did during that time, whenever we would do loans for clients, we would have to get a notary. And I had to run around trying to find a notary. And I'm like, wait, this is like a real part of my job. Like I'm always looking for a notary. If I become a notary, my job is secure. My job is secure.
Yes.
I don't tell none of the other administrators I'm going to go for this notary thing. I don't even tell my manager. I sign up, I take the exam, do the practice, I take the exam, and then I go in with my notary. I'm a notary. We don't need to run around anymore.
So you were adding skills while you were going to school, while you were studying where you wanted to go.
Yes. You have to look for opportunities to make yourself valuable. And sometimes those opportunities are real easy. It was a problem for me that I had to go from floor to floor and see who was a notary. That was a problem for me. How can I solve this problem? And in solving the problem, I realized I can make myself valuable. So sometimes it's about finding a way to make yourself stand out from the crowd without, being crazy about it, but stand out from the crowd and look and dress and be the part that you want to be and still follow that roadmap that you have.
Wow. So let's take it back. I know when we were in the green room talking, I wanted you to talk about your early relationship with money. Okay. Because if you grow up where everybody around you is struggling and everybody is living from paycheck to paycheck, or you may be a person where your parents taught you the first 10% is tied to the Lord, to the church, another 10% is for saving, another 10% is for investing. You live out of that 70%, and some don't know where to begin.
Okay.
Because your first relationship with money tends to form how you look at it throughout your lifetime. So talk to us about your first experience with money.
So I grew up in a 2-parent household in the early 60s. My mom was a housewife and my dad worked. They had 6 kids. My mom would, and five of them were girls. So my mom would always tell us, God bless the child, have your own. Make sure you have your own. At 6 years old, I have no clue what you're talking about, but okay. And so
mine was be more, you have to be more than a pretty face.
That is
got to be more than a pretty face.
That's true. That's so true. So my mom had 6 kids, and even today, when you go to the grocery store, there's 2 for $1, 5 for $1. But back in my days, you could get like 5 cans of pork and beans for $1. So my mother would take all 6 of us, including herself, 7, into the grocery store, and we all got a shopping cart of everything that's 5 for $1, 6 for $1, and all of us on the line, and we're getting the maximum of what that is. But in that, because my dad gave her an allowance to spend, and she wanted to have her own. The money she saved, she would hide. She would hide it, in the top drawer, under the mattress, wherever she would hide it. And not because she thought someone would come in and rob us, but because she didn't want my dad to know how much of her own she had. And also when they had emergencies, because he was money come, money go, we can always kind of make it. And she was like, what about the rainy days if the money's not here? So she would always save for rainy days.
You know what I just remembered? Women couldn't open their own bank accounts without a male signature until the 1970s.
Yes.
So banks were out of the question.
Exactly. 100% true. So that connection, like even when I started working with my $230 a week, I think my rent was $500 at the time, but I saved $10 every pay period, every single pay period. I don't care what, I saved that $10.
Gotcha.
Also, I didn't buy coffee. I didn't buy breakfast. I didn't buy lunch because I was trying to save my money. So I would bring my tea bags to work, and I would go to the cafeteria and pay 10 cents for a cup of water, and I put my tea bag in it. I had my sugar. I make my breakfast. If I had boiled egg, whatever it was, I brought my lunch.
Got you.
And then the money I saved, besides for the 10, because the 10 is my savings and my rainy day and emergency, but the other savings, now that we can come and I could take my kids, we could take the kids wherever we, to the movies, or this is the money that I'm going to use for that. So my mom was very frugal, and I am her child. I am her child. Like I spend money and I enjoy my life, but
you have your stash.
Yeah, everything, it's like, it's not how much money we make. And I know that we can all point to people, I say immigrants, but I don't mean it in a bad way, who come here and next thing you know, they own a house.
Right.
Because they're willing to make the sacrifice to save for what. So it's really not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And we don't have control of our rent, our mortgage, our Con Ed, or Con Ed a little, but we don't have control of our fixed expenses. But there are things we can control. There's things that we cannot buy. There's money that we can save. There's always a way to save money, I believe.
What are some ways to save money?
It's similar to compared. So I'll give you a quick example of, so I bought, it was hot. We have a backyard. I wanted a swimming pool, so I bought a plastic blow-up swimming pool. It was in July. Bought it on Amazon. It was $199, way more than I wanted to spend, but I knew it was going to be cheaper at some point. So I got it, filled it with water, and cooled myself off and kept the box. Went back online maybe 2 weeks ago. It was there for $99. I ordered the one for $99. I put it in a $199 box. I shipped it back to Amazon. Last week, I saw the same thing for $69. I kept that other box. I took the one for $69 and put it in the $99 box. And at the end of the day, I paid $69. That is what I'm going to do. And you laughing, my sister said, you did what? You're doing what? Like, how many times you
going to laughing at you?
She said to me, that's why you have money. She said, I would never do that. I would just count it off as a loss. No. So it's things like that. It's not ordering takeout every day or how many days. It's, you can cut back. It's what you're willing to give up. There are people who love to smoke and they're never going to give up their cigarettes. So I say, don't give up your cigarettes. Smoke as much as you want, but maybe take your lunch to work. Maybe don't. I'm a coffee lover now. I used to be a tea lover. I'm a coffee lover now.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I had to be because I had to get the free water. You couldn't get free coffee. So I'm a coffee drinker. I see, spill the tea. But I'm never going to pay Starbucks money for coffee ever in my life.
Me either.
I'm always going to McDonald's and I'm getting a 99-cent cup of coffee, always. And it tastes just as good as me. So you find what you're willing to give up.
Oh, we have a question. How did you develop the discipline to save? Some of us need to spend every cent to make ends meet.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said,
great question. Great question.
It is a great question. So, an example, I'm just going to give a quick example. Say you make $1,000 a month and all of your rent, gas, electricity, whatever is $800 a month. You got $200 left. What do you do with that $200? Or maybe you cut the cord. So even though your rent and all your fixed, your cable and all that is $800 a month, I cut the cord. And now instead of paying $250, I'm paying $100. Or you call, like I do this often, I call my credit card company and say, what's the lowest rates you got going on? How you can lower your rate. But there are ways, or I don't buy those new pair of shoes, or I don't get that new cell phone. I don't order out, I cook. Like the thing, you can control the things you can control. But some of us feel like, people always say, pay yourself first. And pay yourself first means to take that money, put it aside, put it in a savings for maybe vacation, maybe emergency. It does not mean I'm going to take this money every time I get paid and go buy a new pair of shoes, or go buy my kids a new video game, or
get my nails done.
So get your nails done. I bought on Amazon a gel kit. $49.99. It comes with the polish and everything.
So you were the one who got the last gel kit. See this, people? I decided, and my nails grow long, and I decided at the beginning of the pandemic that I'm not going anywhere near any, because that's too close. Sorry, my nail technician may be watching this. Love you though. But I clipped them off. And let them grow out, but to keep them clipped. And I figure if I miss a little shine, then I will just start buffing them to a high shine that looks neat, that looks healthy. But I think about the money we as women spend on cosmetics. Now, listen, some of us need to do what we need to do to feel the way we need to feel. But if we look at the money we spend in hair products, extensions, if that's your thing, wigs, mani-pedi, there's there's some things.
Yeah. And I don't know how decent it looked, but I do my own braids.
No, I mean, you're good. You're good.
I pay $175 and I just do I YouTube anything. Like I YouTube how to do my twist. So that, and that's who I am. That's who I am. So I do my nails, I do my toes. When I permed my hair, I dye my hair so I can go on vacation, or so I can do whatever it is I want to do. And most importantly, still save money and still pay my bills.
So getting back to your $10 each pay without fail. $10.
Save a little, save often.
Got you.
Save whatever you can save. $1. Like I remember Terrence kept saying $10. Like, what is $10 going to do? I don't know what it's going to do, but this is what I have. So some people think saving needs to be like $100, $1,000. No, that $10 will get to $100 and it'll get to $1,000 and it'll get wherever it goes if you consistently save it and don't touch it for shoes or things that, like, it's all about trying to have pieces. If you buy jewelry, if you buy whatever it is you buy, trying to have classic pieces. But trends change, trends in clothing. You don't have to keep up with every trend. You just don't have to. What's more important to you? Or you have to, but if you do, then find another way around it.
Got you. So at what point did you know that you wanted to work in finance, or was that a progression of, as you observe, because security guard is trained to observe, and you notice some things, and you then became a student within the company or within the environment that you found yourself. How was that different, or was that different from what you had thought about money up until that point?
So, and as I mentioned, I never really wanted to be a security guard. I wanted to go to college, but for what? Who knows? I have no clue. I just know that people with some kind of education, be it college or be it a technical skill, people who have skills or have education make more money than people who don't overall. That's what I knew. So I didn't want to be a security guard. I was taken, before I actually went to college, my job offered some writing course. And even as a security guard, I moved up from standing in the front to going into the office. So
okay, wait. Now, how did you do that? I got the part where you got in, where you fit in.
I just asked management. I just said, I'm tired of standing out here. My legs hurt. This, and I did say that. I was like, anybody. And during that time, there was no card reader. I was the card reader. There was no open the door, and no, that was me.
Okay.
I stood there. You came in. Let me see your ID. This looked like you. Okay, you could go in. And I'm like, not a chimpanzee, but that's what I felt. I'm like, a chimpanzee could do this. Like, I'm bigger than this. I'm better than this. I have more skills than this. No. So I talked to the supervisor and I said, anybody could do this. Like, I want to be in the office. I can read, I can write, I want to be in the office.
But how long had you been there when you had that conversation with your supervisor?
Maybe
it wasn't after a week, though.
No, it was like 6 months.
Oh, okay. I just want to make that clear, that you don't go through the door saying,
no, you don't. No, you don't. And you find an opportunity, because he would, at the end of the day, he would walk out. How's it going? How you doing? And also, you're dealing with clients. So when people are coming in, if they like someone, so manage like all the people who worked in the building. It's like, that's a good one. You have a good one. Like, keep her. She's smart. She's this. She's that. So I went into to the office, and then I became in charge of timesheets. And then I became in charge of the girls' security job. So we had girls and guys, and then they put me in charge of the women security guards. And then he suggested, getting back to your question, I take a writing course, because I had to do write-ups and things of that nature. And I met someone, and this course was offered through the bank. And I met someone who worked in private banking. And she took a liking to me, and she said, you know what, you should come over here. We have an opening. So I put in for the transfer.
Networking.
Yes, it's everything. It's everything. And I will say, networking seems, to people who don't do it, really difficult. But it's kind of easy. And I say that, I used to go to a lot of black tie events, and I would go representing the firm, but I'd be the only one there. I knew no one. So I would look around.
The only
Bank of New York person. Well, I'm always the only black person. I worked in private banking for 33 years at the Bank of New York. I was always the only black banker, period.
Huh.
Lots of black administrators, but banker, private banker, vice, any officer, VP, assistant treasurer, always the only one.
So how many times were you mistaken for an administrator?
Never. Even when I was an administrator, because I dressed like a banker.
Got you.
They would come to me and say, oh, I want to get a loan, when now, but you did have a good question, because once I went in, and my administrator was white, and we went to meet a client. And when the client came out, the client hadn't met either one of us yet. And he extended his hand to Kelly O'Connell and said, hi, Laura Byerson, pleasure to meet you. Because she was white, so she had to be me.
I wish I had been on the wall.
Yes. And I was like, oh no, I'm Laura. It's like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah. So back to your original question. What was the question? How did I get to?
When
Sorry, guys.
no, it's okay. I'm looking at the comments.
The journey. I think it was kind of the journey.
Yes, but I'm seeing one of the statements, the questions. You can't save your way out of poverty. You must increase your income. With regards to your saying of people who have skills make more money, what are your thoughts? You were talking about context.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how you were a security guard or you were an administrator, and you noticed that you had to keep running around the building to find a notary. And so you decided that to make yourself more valuable, not to make a big deal about it, you became a notary.
Mm-hmm.
And so you added to your skill set. So people came to you rather than you running around trying to find someone. You became the you that you were trying to find.
Exactly. And because of that, I got a raise.
Okay. So you did get more money.
I did get more money after that.
When you got, okay.
Yeah.
Hope that answers the question. But what do you think about that statement? You can't save your way out of poverty.
I think that's correct. And like, two things can be true.
Okay.
You can't save your way out of poverty. I think you can.
Talk about the mindset, though.
I think you can, because I tell you, I live from paycheck to paycheck. And so did my parents, from paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. But you're going, number one, to save. And sometimes it's how you save. Are you saving, back then I was just savings. And then at some point I started investing. And investments grow quicker than savings grow. But also, are you saving so that you could go to college? Because college, I got out of poverty with college. It doesn't work for everyone else, but my education, because if you think about education, if I'm a high school graduate, mm-hmm. and I interview for a job that's looking for a college degree, can I get that job? No. But if I interview for a job and I have a college degree and they want a high school diploma or a college degree, I fit both bills. So the whole thing is, if education allows you the opportunity to make more money, because if they're looking for a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, a high school diploma, I fit the bill for all three. Mm-hmm. If I have all three. But right. If they're looking for those and I only have a high school diploma, I'm not going to get that job. So education affords you more opportunities to get more interviews to possibly land the job that you're looking for.
Right. But to get to your story earlier, you looked for companies that had tuition reimbursement, because when you started as a security guard, you didn't have a degree.
I had a 2-year degree.
You had a 2-year degree. Okay.
Accounting, but I didn't want to do accounting.
That you didn't want to do accounting. So did you feel that you wasted 2 years?
No.
Okay.
And the only reason I didn't, because when I went to my 4-year degree, I was able to transfer those credits that applied to my 4-year degree over.
Got you.
So instead of doing another 4 years, I did 2.5 additional years.
See, because I have a philosophy that no experience is wasted. It's just a matter of, and no one's journey is the same. It's just a matter. It's a matter of finding the principles and coming across people that can tell you how to put together the pieces of what you have to get you where you want to go. So with that, you started talking about the from the savings to the investing and the mindset. How did your mindset shift as you started first progressing in your career, gaining more education,
Mm-hmm.
being exposed to people, and talk about being the only person who looked like you in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and the pressure that comes with that while you're trying to get to the next level?
So for those who don't know, wealth management and private banking is you work with high net individuals, so AKA rich people. They have to have $5 million in assets or more to be part of private banking. So,
Excuse me. And did you have $5 million at that point yourself?
no.
Okay, just
No, I'm saying as a client, not as a
no, no,
person.
no. I'm just context is everything. Because
No.
people think I don't have it. That doesn't mean.
Yes, it doesn't mean you can't get it.
Okay.
So, as an administrator, clients would come in looking for a home equity line of credits. They would come in looking for loans, mortgages, investments. And I kind of watch what they did and I watch what we did for them. So one of the things they did all the time was they would call and complain about their rates. We would reduce them. They would call and complain about the fees. We would refund them.
Wow.
They would call and complain about making a deposit for a check for $10 million and 10 cents, and we did not give them the 10 cents. And they want that 10 cents. Now, these are people with $5 million. And at first, I just thought, like, how crazy is that? Like, you have all this money and you're concerned about 10 cents.
That's how they got it.
The way you grow your money is by keeping your money. It's not what you make, it's how much you can keep in your pocket. So in that, I would call every 6 months. I call my credit card companies. What lower rates are you offering today? And can I get that rate? I call anybody I pay anything to and say, how can I lower this rate? I know it sounds scary. It sounds weird. They'll say yes or they'll say no. I don't know how many people bank with Chase. If you're ever overdrawn with Chase, they reverse twice a year. They reverse your overdraft fees. And back in the days when I was overdraft, I would wait for the first 6 months. I look at my account, see how many they have. What's the day? I'll call them and say, I have these many overdraft fees. Can you reverse them? They reverse them. And then the next 6 months, I look, and if I have fees, can you? So now I got the 2 you're going to give me.
So wait. Hold. Wait a minute. So you waited 6 months, knew you had overdraft fees, and will call them up and ask, would you reverse fees? Now, just out of curiosity, was it because you had stellar credit, or you just knew that you could ask?
They still do that to this day. That's kind of part of their policy.
Okay.
They'll give you 2 courteous overdraft reversals. So maybe the first 6 months I was only overdrawn twice, but there was one time that I was overdrawn all the 6 months.
Wow.
And I got all those fees back. Annual fees for my credit cards. I call them and say, listen, I got a situation. I can't pay the annual fee. If it is a credit card that is specifically, say, a Citibank credit card, they will waive those fees. But if it is a Citibank card sponsored by Spirit Airline, they don't reverse those fees because those fees go to Spirit Airline.
You know, I got another question. It says, it appears that you, Mrs. Byersons, had a good relationship with money. How can someone develop a similar mindset, particularly when a poor financial situation and outlook is inherited? Again, Pookie and all my people living from paycheck to paycheck, if they have a paycheck. What I mean, I want to be of the mindset where I can call somebody and say, listen, reverse this, but I don't, where do I begin?
So I say you begin it. Everything's scary. Things are scary. When I first started doing it, it was scary. But I see my clients do it. I know this happens. I don't know if it's going to happen for me, but I know it happens. I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to have this call. And also, I would say to myself, this is scary, but if they say no, they're not saying no to me because they don't know me. They're not saying no because they think I suck at my credit, or it's even though it is me, I don't take it personal because they don't know me. They can yell and scream at me, whatever. But when I hang up the phone, I'll never see them again. I've never seen them. I'll never talk to them. So you have to I would almost pretend that I was someone else on the phone.
Gotcha.
So if you yelled at me, I don't care. But if you said yes, and then I would pay attention to what I said. Or if they said no, I would pay attention to why they said no. So when I call back next month, I could say whatever it was that
Wait a minute. You said so when you call back next month. So that wasn't the last call that they were going to get. Yeah. So you would just keep calling them until you wear them out.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Especially if I learn in that call that, oh, we would have done it if you said this. Oh, okay. And when they say no, I always say why. I say, well, can you just tell me why? I just need to understand. And then once they tell me why, now you told me why. So the next time, and if it may not be true. The story that I said may not be true, but you told me you're going to give me money back. And if it's not a story that is verifiable, yeah, my mother was sick and I had to pay her a doctor's bill. You don't know. And, I would put it on someone who was really sick. I wouldn't jinx anybody.
Right.
At the end of the day. So I would just always, it's almost like learning from your mistakes. I would always say, okay, why did this work? How did this work? What can I do to get it to work? And a part of me is optimistic. I always think amazing things can happen. So even when they don't, I don't quit.
I guess the question is, how does a person stop being afraid of money?
You got to change your mindset. You have to say, I'm poor. So when I was on the I call it the treadmill. I was living, true story, living paycheck to paycheck. No, I'm lying. Not even living paycheck to paycheck because I couldn't make ends meet. And I would literally 2 days before I got paid, I would go to D'Agostino's, and this before checks cleared right away. And I would write a check for $25 and I would buy 1 cup of yogurt. And then I would take the money in cash. Back then you could do that. And then I would go to the train and I'd buy tokens. I could get to work. So this is Tuesday. I got paid on Thursday. I could get to work long enough to get that money for Thursday. And by the time the check clear, or I would take money off one credit card and pay the other credit card.
Wow.
Or I would decide, you know what, this month I can't pay Con Ed. And I know Con Ed is going to charge me a little bit of fee, but they're not going to turn it off. As long as I put that money in by this time. So I'm not going to pay Con Ed. Or this time I can't pay rent because I got to pay Con Ed. So I'm doing all this, but behind the scenes, I'm going to school. Behind the scenes, I'm still saving that $10. So if they do cut off Con Ed, and I did have that situation, it was $200. My $10 was $500 at that time. Okay. So even though it was an emergency, I wasn't frightened because I took that $200 and paid that. I used to work.
$10 was going in no matter what.
It was going in no matter what, and it was there. I used to live where I used to live back then. They had on Sundays Whoppers for $1 a day. I go there and everybody's getting a Whopper. I don't care what you want because it's 4 of us. And if y'all all want 2 Whoppers or whatever, that's still $8. It was still less than cooking. So I would just find ways. So I make spaghetti. We having spaghetti every night, all night. It's what you're willing. And I don't say willingness. It's, you know what? Do you know how to rob Peter to pay Paul?
Now,
Oh, maybe you don't
that
have,
would be a class.
yeah. And you do, but you don't do that. And that's the treadmill. You don't do that because paying paycheck, you're just running fast, living paycheck to paycheck, running fast, getting nowhere. It's miserable. I was miserable. And I was like, somebody wrote the wrong life for me. This is not my life. And I got to get off this damn treadmill. Education. When I went back to school,
was what flipped it.
The moment I got my degree, and like I said, the opportunities probably were always there, but I wasn't prepared for them. But the moment I got the degrees, I started looking for promotions, and I said, "Oh wait, I can do this. I have this skill. Oh wait." So,
but you were still at your same company while you were looking for other opportunities
within the company, because
within the company.
Also, most of the time when you're with a company, moving up within the company and then moving out.
Somebody got jokes. Somebody got jokes that say, tokens, what's that? Yo. Tokens used to be the Metro card. Yo, y'all.
Yes, that is hilarious.
Google it. No, sir.
That is hilarious. Well, most of the times, too, you have to figure out, or I figured out, how I can keep moving in this company. Like some people want to jump out and go someplace else. And if you have the skills, but for me, I'm like, how can I make the best of the people I know here, the synergy I have here, and move up within the firm? So every position I look for had to do with, at that time in the firm, where can I go from here? And what do I need? And looking at people and saying, okay, what do they do? And getting to know them. And so what did you have to do for this? And what skills do I need for that? And then applying the skills.
Got you.
Does that kind of help?
No, that's perfect, because that is applicable whether it's construction, whether it's health and office, and you have to do the job that you're doing. Whatever job you're doing, you have to do that well in order for someone to notice and say, she's a keeper, he's a keeper. What else? We could use a person like that over here, because like any winning team, you're always looking for star players, people who can add to the team as a unit. So several takeaways, because I'm looking at, and I know this conversation is good, right? But it's 6:52. So some of the things I heard you say that I learned was that you started in security.
Yes.
And it wasn't because you wanted to be in security. You started in security because that was the opportunity.
Yes.
And you were looking more so at growth. In other words, I get in here, I stay at least 6 months, I can be eligible for their tuition reimbursement, which is my goal, is to add to my education. I never heard you say where you stopped working to get your education. So, and I heard you say that you had children and you were working full time and you were going to school. So how did you not lose your mind?
So for a minute I did.
Okay.
For a minute, I got overwhelmed. I got stressed. You can't do this. What are you doing? You're crazy, whatever. But if I had to bet on myself. Sometimes we bet on everybody else. This person could save me. This one, you got to save yourself. So what I started doing is stop thinking about everything I had to do. And I just literally looked at my clock. Oh, I need to get to work. Oh, I need to leave work and go to school. Oh, I need to go home and do it. I just started looking at my clock and saying, where do I have to be? And taking everything one piece at a time, because when you put all of that together and you look at it, it is overwhelming and it is a lot. But also, I sit home, I go to work. After work, I go home and I help with homework, but I watch TV. And what am I doing for those 3-4 hours? I could be in school. I'm sitting here watching TV. This does not help me at all.
Right.
So yes, it's hard, and it might take 2 years, but to give up 2.5 or 4 years of your life to get out of misery and have a better rest of your life. And I convinced myself of that. It's only 2 years of your life. And if you can just hunker down and do this, the rest of your life can be better. And I don't have to try to hide it or medicate myself or whatever by watching TV. So I'm going to give up this TV time and I'm going to go to school.
So how much training did your company offer, and did you sign up for any of that?
So in the early part, training, but yes, so Series 763. In order to do my job, I had to get that. They paid for that. So I will say I have, and I don't say this bragging at all, but I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, I have a Series 7, a 63, and a CFP certificate. And all of that was paid for by my company. So just saying that to say, that was something that I got from them that nobody can take away from me. And they paid for that.
Come on here.
They paid for that.
Hold on. Go to church format. I'm just Speak on it. If you get skills, nobody can take them from you.
They can fire you, they can get rid of you, but when they do, you still got that education, and you could take what they paid for and parlay it into something else. So for me,
believe your reputation intact.
Exactly. So it's difficult, but anything you do in life is just difficult. Being homeless is difficult. Begging for money is difficult. It's all difficult. It's where you want to come out on the end of that difficult task or that difficult part.
Wow. So what is one thing, if those watching this do not take away anything else, what's one thing that you wish everybody would start doing immediately in this time of pandemic where finances are concerned?
Okay, so finances. There are online courses. So we're talking about education and skills, free online courses. I don't even know if you guys are aware of it, but Harvard University is offering free online classes.
Wait, hold on. Okay.
Yeah, Google it. Free online classes.
I am right now.
Leadership, programming, law, all of that online. So if you could do nothing else, take Investopedia, which is a site that does talks about investing. And they have savings 101. They have budget 101. They have investment 101.
Harvard free classes.
And
I'm going to put the link in the chat. And you said Investopedia?
Investopedia tutorials. They're like 10, 15 minutes. What is savings? What is a budget? How to do a great budget. And budgeting is really just trying to figure out how you juggle your money. Where's most of the money going? And if I'm ordering out too much, I'm going to start cooking at home. If I can't afford to get, like I said, the coffee, the tea, the lunch, then I'm going to make it at home.
Okay.
So Investopedia, that's a good site to go to.
Investopedia, I found it. I'm putting it in the chat.
And then there was one other question that we didn't get to ask, and it had to do with credit. If you got low credit and getting your credit higher.
Yes.
So, quick things. This may not exist for some people. I'll give you 3 ways, but one of the easiest way is to become an authorized user on someone else's card. So if you have a mom or a dad and they trust you and they have good credit. So you will pick up their 15 years, their 30 years of credit. All they have to do is give you a card and make you an authorized user. automatically it picks up your credit and you pull their credit history. We did that for our boys.
Now, what do you consider to be good credit?
So I think it's 620 or better is fair.
Mm-hmm.
620, I don't know.
750 and higher is excellent.
Excellent. So, but fair, you can get credit cards and things of that nature with a fair credit score. So that's one. The other one is you can get a secured credit card where you take $100. Typically it's $200, but it starts as low as $49. You put it in an account. They give you a credit card link to that. You use that card, you pay it back. And at some point they'll see that you're reliable. You keep paying it back. And then they'll send you your $200 or $49 back, and you'll have a card of your own with $200 on it. And the last but not least, that you probably don't know about is, I don't know if you see the commercial, Experian Boost.
No.
So Experian commercials, they allow you to build your credit by paying your utility and cell phone bill. So you attach your checking account or whatever account that you pay your cell bill from or your credit card from to Experian Boost. The moment you do that, they'll send you an email, you verify it. Just by doing that, it increases your credit score right then and there, and they'll send you a copy of that credit score. And then they'll also instantly send you a copy of your credit report.
Okay, so I am putting that Experian Boost in the chat.
And that's for people who don't have the $49 or the $200, but most of us pay either a cell bill or Connect bill.
Yeah.
You could start it that way. They give you credit for paying that bill on time. You don't want to do it if you don't pay that bill on time, but they give you credit for doing that.
Awesome. Well, I hate to say the time is up because, we can talk all the time, but sadly, good people, this is all we have time for this month. Listen, let me hear if you enjoyed this podcast. This stream is going to be up. I have to thank Laura Byerson 1,000 times. The gems that are in this chat, in this feed, from it's only an opportunity if you're prepared, how to recognize an opportunity, how to start working on your credit, saving as little as $5, $10 every time you get some money, and not to spend it, to take a look at how your money is working for you, and really to take steps towards being comfortable with money as a tool and not as something that is an enemy. And so working on our mindset.
Yeah.
Let me just say that it's a journey, it's a work in progress, but I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to start the conversation here in this month's Strive Alumni Town Hall. So until next month, again, we have all the announcements in the chat, and you're more than welcome to like, share, and subscribe to the Strive YouTube channel. Until the next time, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.